Dr. Boyce Watkins from yourblackworld.com, and I wanted to talk today about something that some of you may know about, something that just happened with Essence Magazine. Essence Magazine hired last year a managing editor by the name of Michael Bollerdick. Michael happened to be a white guy, which is fine, but in addition to being a white guy, Bollerdick looks like he's definitely a right-wing Republican. And he seems almost like he's a racist white guy. And what I remember was that when Bollerdick was originally hired, there was already concern about the fact that you've got all these brilliant black female journalists out here who are trying to get gigs at major magazines and can't get them. And if they can't get a gig at Essence, then where can they go to get jobs? But so that was an issue brought up last year. And then it turns out that this guy that they hired over all these other qualified citizens happens to be a guy who really looks almost like he's a racist. He's one of those real scary white ring Republicans, the kinds that you hear about during scary campfire stories. So to talk about this issue, I brought in Yvette Cardell, who is my partner in crime. She is the editor at yourblackworld.com and just a downright brilliant human being. How you doing today, Yvette?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm feeling good. I was feeling real good till I read about this stuff with Bollerdick. I saw the screenshot on his Facebook page, which came from Richard Prince over at Journalisms, and on the screenshot, he has this really disrespectful picture of Al Sharpton, calling him a race baiter. He has something else, a Andrew Breitbart video discrediting Attorney General Eric Holder. He has some other things about Barack Obama in which he's basically saying that he's this radical nut job and he's associated with these people that hate America. And I was really concerned because, see, the thing is that disagreeing with Obama is not the issue. You and I disagree with the administration all the time. You've written some things about Sharpton that have been pretty poignant, pretty hardcore, and actually I have too. When people are wrong, they're wrong. But there's something about the language that came from this man that says that this is more than just a political opinion. This is about him actually having a keen disrespect for black people. What did you think when you heard about what Bollerdick did and your thinking in terms of Essence's relationship with this man?
Well, from where I stand, I hate to say this, but I would just say told you so. I don't know what Essence expected. Most of the times when you come into a business, especially if you're coming into, a top tier company, whether you're coming in as a journalist or editor or whatever, you're expected to respect the culture. You're expected to respect the readers, the people who read Essence Magazine, most of whom are Obama supporters, most of whom will vote to re-elect Obama in 2012. Now, that doesn't mean you can't edit things in such a way as to create an opposing view. You can do that all day. But the point of the matter is to have an opinion that's so right wing and then put it out there. You're disrespecting the organization, the magazine that pays your check. You really have to think about. Let's just put this in a different context. The Weekly Standard is a very conservative paper. Even if you are the managing editor at the Weekly Standard, you don't go home to your Facebook or to your Twitter and talk about how much love you have for Obama. That's just disrespect for your brand to do that, because your brand doesn't love Obama. No matter what you might do when you go home or what you feel or what you do in that voting booth, you don't disrespect it like that. So I think it was very disrespectful to the people at Essence, but I think they invited that when they said that we need a white man in here to run our organization. When we need a white man to run a magazine about black women. I thought that was problematic from the start. It doesn't mean that you can't have white writers here and there to share a different perspective. I'm fine with that. But you're giving this guy the job of managing editor? Wasn't he managing editor at that magazine? So I felt that was a problem. I felt that was a slap in the face in terms of what Essence is supposed to be about. It is about black women. And if you're trying to change that, then let me know. But until you change that, I want to see a black woman at the helm of that magazine.
Well, the editor-in-chief of Essence, Constance White, of course, she's been in damage control mode since pretty much since this guy got hired. I mean, when he got hired last year, there was an uproar, and I think a legitimate uproar from so many millions of people across America, male and female, who said, wait a minute, a managing editor in essence is going to be a white guy. And it wasn't that there's a problem per se with him being white. I think it's a matter of sort of feeling that, man, Essence is the place for black women. If black women can't go to Essence and get a job, where can they go? And I remember one of the things that was very interesting about the way Constance handled it was she said, and again, this is with all due respect to her, but it's interesting because she said that basically this guy has no editorial responsibility in terms of the content. In terms of what actually appears in the magazine, he's there to basically be part of the production process. He's there to make sure people meet deadlines and that the workflow is orderly, etc. And that almost sounds okay, even though it didn't sound all that credible, to be honest with you. But then on Boledick's own LinkedIn page, he says that he is responsible for editing the style and tone, or editing articles for style and tone. Well, when you talk about the black female experience, style and tone are very important. So, I think that there's something going on there where I don't know. I'm dying to find out, how did this guy get in there? You don't get jobs like that by just walking in off the street and handing them your resume. I'm sorry. To get a job at a place like Essence, I know many qualified black journalists who try to get jobs in places like that who can't get those jobs. So you get those jobs through connections. So somebody in the organization helps you get the right meeting, or maybe a higher up from Time Warner's dropped this guy on them and said, you need to have him in your office, whether you like it or not. And that says something very disturbing about who's really calling the shots at Essence. I mean, am I right or am I crazy?
No, you're wrong. Somebody had a conversation. This guy
wait. You said I'm wrong.
No. I said you're right in terms of you're not wrong in terms of somebody had a conversation. Somebody had a conversation and said, either look at this guy, or this guy's good, or he may be a great addition, or their parent company, like you said, could have said, hey, you need to bring this guy on because you're having problems with your media, you're having problems with circulation for whatever reason. But you're right, you don't send in a resume and they call you in and you get hired for that position. That's not the way that happens. So I have to wonder who thought this was a good idea from jump. I understand that she had to defend it, and she has defended it, the entire time. But who initially came up to her, or was it her, and said, this guy's a good idea? Adding this kind of right-wing Republican guy to Essence, and having him be a managing editor, that's a win. I just wonder who does that. And let's just remember, let's just keep in mind about the whole flap with XXL. Was it XXL magazine with the whole short flap and the whole thing about that? Their editor-in-chief is white. I don't think she was forced to leave. So she is white as well. So when you think about tone, and when you think about what comes down the pike of black media, and some people not catching it because that's what she said after the fact, she didn't catch it, and that was a mistake or whatever. That is tone. You have to have some type of knowledge of the black community to catch that and be like, that's not right. That sounds a lot like raping girls. That's not what I want out there. If you've grown up with that, if you've grown up in the black community, you've seen the kind of evolution of hip hop, that might give you pause, but if you haven't, then it won't. So we tend to think that, we're in this post-racial Obama kind of place. And that's just nonsense. Doesn't mean that a white person can't understand hip hop. It just means that when you're writing about hip hop, or when you're writing about anything black, it's more to it than that. If you're writing about a love tale in essence, and you're writing about somebody's love story, it's more to it than just a love story, And that's the point I want to get at. There is some richness in this blackness. There's some richness in our culture. And if you're not deeply steeped in it, you're going to run into some road bumps along the way. And that is the problem that I initially had with them bringing him on in that space.
Interesting. Well, I think that you're on point with that. I think that the outrage is justified. I think that when you talk about Essence and you talk about what happened here, it's deeper than just, we had an employee who said some things that were inappropriate and that's it. Let's be clear. This guy had a big backyard to operate in. It's really hard to just say that he can't have the job because he's white. I mean, it might be, it certainly is a relevant critique. I mean, absolutely, because when you're talking about speaking to the black experience, there's something about being black that gives you insight on the black experience that you can't get anywhere else. Let's be clear about that. But it's hard to deny him the job just for being white. It's hard to deny him the job just because he doesn't support Obama. A lot of people don't support Obama. You know, he can vote for Mitt Romney. But the fact that he did two things, it says a lot. That A, he was not just a right winger, but he's an extreme right winger. He's like the right wingers who tried to get Shirley Sherrod fired, who have tried to smear civil rights leaders, who have tried to make jokes about assassinating President Obama. You know, those people that even Fox News is ashamed of. So he took it over the limit to the point where you can say, man, you sound like David Duke on your Facebook page. That was the first thing. The second thing is that he showed extreme disrespect for Essence by getting on Facebook and you're spitting your views out to the world. You are pissing all over Essence magazine and its constituency. You are saying, I don't care what none of y'all think because I don't even respect y'all enough to be diplomatic in my perspectives. That is a problem. And here's the other thing that really freaks me out. This man hasn't even been fired. They're damn near apologizing for his behavior. They're like, well, he's been reassigned to another position. No, F that crap. He needs to be out the door. Like, really? Are you kidding me? Like, what is he doing now? Like, what is he working in another department? Is he editing, columns over in the section that y'all don't know about? Or y'all just waiting for somebody to find out what else he's been doing? Because it almost seems like their response has been very reactionary. Like we're not going to say anything about this. We just hope the Negroes don't find out. And then when they find out, it's like, well, no, really, he ain't doing nothing important.
That was a long time ago.
Right, he don't even matter. Nothing to see here, folks. No, I just think that there's something here that is a problem. It's almost like when George Zimmerman, the guy that killed Trayvon Martin, kept getting arrested over and over and over again, and he kept getting off. They kept letting him go. Well, there's something working there. Somebody has a connection that is making this, that is controlling the situation, almost like you can control a puppet. Well, Essence, to some extent, is behaving like a damn puppet. And I don't know who the puppet master is, but I really want to know that because Essence is so important. Historically, it's been so important to the experience of black women in America. And as the father of 3 black girls, I need Essence to be legitimate. I don't need them getting into this kind of nonsense. So it personally offended me. Now, I'm going to stop talking and let you get the last word, and then we'll shut it down. What say you, Yvette?
I say let him go. I say let him go. Listen, I remember, you and I both remember when Roland Martin said that CNN's Roland Martin released he tweeted the thing about the David Beckham in shorts and got in all sorts of trouble. Roland Martin was suspended for like 2 weeks. I remember it was like 2 weeks he was out. This guy hasn't even been suspended. He hasn't even been suspended. You know, and Roland Martin tweeted his stuff at the Super Bowl, so then you could say, well, maybe Roland, I don't know if he drinks, maybe he had a drink, maybe he had 1 too many, he was at a leisurely place. This dude does this all the time. This is stuff he puts on his Facebook all the time. And you have to remember, the reason Roland Martin got suspended is because people thought he wasn't representing his brand. They thought what he was saying in terms of his comments, that people found him homophobic, and that's not CNN's brand. Well, please tell me how this guy who works for Essence, who, is in the circulation of which, the readership of which is mostly black women, how is he going out dogging, Al Sharpton and dogging, black people and Eric Holder and Obama and all this stuff? How is he representing the Essence brand? Or should we ask, why hasn't he been held accountable for not respecting the Essence brand? That's the question for me.
Well, you notice that all the people on that particular snippet of the Facebook page that he was disrespecting all happened to be black. And I think that says something. He's not going after Nancy Pelosi and, some prominent Democrat or Hillary Clinton. Like, that Hillary Clinton, she just angers me. No, he was going after the black people, particularly the black males, and he was acting like an angry white guy. And it's absolutely unfathomable that he would have any sort of responsibility or decision-making authority whatsoever at Essence Magazine. It's unbelievable.
And he can do that. You know what? You can do that. If you want to be the angry white guy, you can go work for Drudge Report. You can go work for the Daily Caller. You can go work for the Blaze. There are so many right-wing places that I'm sure right now are looking for a managing editor. You should go pick one.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm a finance professor, and in my mind, I think my brain is trained to believe in a capitalist society. 9 times out of 10, when you see behavior like this, you can always look at the money trail. The fact is that this is all about money. And you know, when unfortunately we as black people have been trained to become addicted to a commodity that we do not control. We will sell ourselves to the highest bidder because we believe that everything that glitters must be made of gold. And the fact is that there are some things that simply should not be for sale. I think that when you talk about this situation, it is a lesson, you know, in point for all of us to understand that everybody should not be allowed to get out of jail free card. They should not be able to just come up and give you a check and use that to ask for forgiveness for some heinous thing that they did. But you see it happen all the time. You saw Wells Fargo give a check to the NAACP. They backed off on the predatory lending issue. You see Essence getting a check from Time Warner. Now Essence is no longer what they used to be. You see BET taking checks from certain people. They start doing things that don't make any sense. Well, but then again, BET never really done anything that's made any sense. So maybe they're a little bit of an exception. But the reality is that we can't somehow buy into a value system that says that people should always be allowed to buy their way out of whatever disrespectful thing they've done to us. Because guess what? People know that. Corporations know that. Wealthy white people know that. Racists and bigots know that. They know if we give these niggas a check, they'll shut up and they won't bother us anymore. And we can disrespect them. We can pee all over them. You know, we can do whatever we want, say whatever we want. And if we write a big enough check, they're going to come back and they're going to be smiling. Yes, sir, boss. I'm sorry. I didn't know that you didn't mean it. I apologize. You apologize for stuff. You apologize for stuff that somebody else did. You know, so anyway, that's all there is to say about it. As long as the check clears, we good, right? Well, thank you so much for your time, Yvette. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
And thank you all for checking us out at yourblackworld.com. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.